Well, welcome to Viewpoints. My name is George Beach, and I'm here with Rich Hall to discuss his master's thesis on comprehensive disaster management in Florida. Welcome, Rich.
Thanks, George. Glad to be here.
Well, the first question I have for you, Rich, is could you briefly describe for us Florida's comprehensive disaster strategy?
CDM is a term that I'm introducing basically as an umbrella term that covers both the emergency management and the domestic security. And it's used as a term to encompass all the stakeholders in the process, which includes governmental agencies, the non-governmental agencies, the private enterprise or private organizations, and also the citizens of Florida. And as I said, it basically encompasses both the emergency management and the domestic security.
Okay. And as far as your thesis goes, can you tell us just a little bit about the general aspects of your thesis?
Sure. Tried to use what's called a force field analysis, which is basically looking at driving factors towards success and restraining factors towards success for the interorganizational collaborative capacity. It's basically looking at what helps organizations succeed, or what hinders them, what forces restrain them from succeeding and collaborating. And I use basically three case studies, if you will, from catastrophic events in Florida over the past 20 years, which were Hurricane Andrew in 1992, which many view as the starting point for the modern era of emergency management in Florida. The second one was the wildfires of 1998, and then the third one and final one was the Summer of Storms in 2004, which consisted of 5 different major storms that hit Florida in about a 6-week period.
Do you feel like Florida has been well prepared for these types of disasters?
I do, but I recognize that I'm biased. However, many experts in the emergency management field and many leaders in government have recognized Florida's efforts since Hurricane Andrew. It was considered the catalyst that basically caused Florida to change the way they did business. And they've recognized Florida as a leader in emergency management and have said that Florida is one of the best prepared states. And as I said, of course, I recognize that I'm biased. I participated in many of those events, and I of course thought that we did well, and it was gratifying to hear 20 years later that, or in the current environment, that we've done apparently perceived to be pretty well.
And what do you think your thesis is going to help Florida disaster management?
Well, when I started, and of course I mentioned the force field analysis, but really my more important reason for writing this was basically to tell the narrative of how Florida has been successful over the past 20 years. So it was kind of using a framework of the ICC research project, which has actually been done here at MP at Naval Postgraduate School since 2002. They actually did most of the hard work for me, and that they had already laid out the driving and restraining factors for ICC, and took those and basically captured them using them as the framework. But really, my intent was really to tell the story, to use it as a launching pad to create a narrative so that people could go back and look at what caused Florida to be successful where perhaps other states have not done quite as well. And that was really the driving goal, was to capture those lessons learned and record those for other states to perhaps learn from those. When I started this project, part of the driving force was I was a big fan back in the 90s. I don't know if you've ever read it, but there was a book called In Search of Excellence that basically looked at private organizations such as Walt Disney and what were they doing that was good. And that was really the intent of this, is to look at Florida in the narrative of emergency management and find out what have they been doing that's good, or smart practices.
Okay. You had mentioned that other states might be readers of your thesis. Who else do you see as being the recipients of this research?
Well, I think the Florida State Emergency Response Team, which is a consortium of those state agencies there in Florida, I think they would be interested in it. I participated, like I said, in many of these events, but until I started this research, I never really gave thought to why it was successful, in the terms of it was because of the collaborative efforts. So I think they would be interested and would have value for them to look at it. I think leaders that make the decisions, political, funding decisions, et cetera, would benefit from looking at the thesis. And then I believe that some of the federal agencies may be able to benefit from this too, because it's Florida is just a lower level of the Homeland Security enterprise. It's a component of the Homeland Security enterprise, so I think federal agencies could also benefit from looking at the collaborative efforts that facilitate success in Florida.
Thanks, Rich. I appreciate you joining me here on Viewpoints.
I appreciate it, George. I enjoyed being here. Thank you.